Hey everyone! Welcome to a new video. I really hope you had a great day. Today we are looking at some new r/malicious compliance stories. The first story is called Unless She Asks for It. My boss is Swedish, with English as a third language. I am Malaysian, with English as my first language. My boss asked me to draft an email blast to clients to inform them that we are still able to help them out with whatever they need. After sending her the draft, she supposedly corrected my bad grammar and sent it back to me. Thinking it was a typo, I corrected certain phrasing and sent it to the client, who is British. My boss saw the email and got mad and basically acted like a brat that I corrected her grammar. She said, "I'm happy that you're confident your English is better than mine, and that I should not correct her unless she asks for it." I ignore this and end the workday. Fast forward 2 days later. My boss sends another email to this particular client, and due to her bad grammar, the client replies, asking for clarification as to what she meant to say. I read the email and continue on with my day, until my boss texts me asking me why I didn't clarify what she meant in her email to the client. I repeated that she didn't want corrections unless she asked for it. The next story is called He Wants to Raise a Complaint. This story took place in the UK. With it being the end of the financial year, everyone was trying to do last-minute payments into their ISAs. And all day we were bombarded with customers wanting to pay money in, open accounts, etc. Now recently, due to how many people are trying to hide their money and the increased traffic to our call centers and website, our systems have been a little messed. Today was no different, other than the fact that it's a weekend, which is outside of banking hours, and a day when the majority of our staff are off. Not to mention the fact that we've cut down our departments a lot because of the current situation. We are getting so far behind that it's looking like it's going to take months, maybe even a year, to be able to get up to speed with everything once this is over. The government requires all banks and financial institutions to send out what is called a gap letter to make sure that you've not invested in more than one ISA in a tax year. So all day I've had to deal with people complaining that the website won't let them invest in their accounts. And I've had to basically say, I would suggest next time that you invest earlier in the year. But one guy immediately came through and just started hurling abuse at me. Now in my workplace, I'm known for not really taking abuse from customers unless it's something that we have caused. He's complaining that he can't invest in his ISA because it's telling him he's not allowed and he can only invest a certain amount. I asked the standard, "Have you already invested with us in this financial year?" To which he dances around the question and continues berating me about how he knows the rules. I asked him to log into his account to see what's going on. Surprise, surprise, he has an issue with this. He is telling me instead of questioning him, I should have been working out the issue from the beginning. He is demanding to speak to a manager, calling me an idiot and expecting me to know all of his personal details from the one name he gave me at the beginning. The next thing he says, as I'm trying to explain that I don't have his information, is, "I want to raise a complaint." Cue the malicious compliance. At this point, I've just about given up trying to help him, and I say, "Okay, I just need all of your details to raise this." So he gives them, and I offer to still have a look into the issue while making the complaint, which causes another tirade of insults spewing from him about how I need to hurry up. The deadline is midnight. So I carry on making the complaint and tell him, "I've raised a complaint for you, sir. One of our complaint handlers will be in touch with you in the next 3 working days, but due to the current situation, we are stretched a little thin, so it may take us a little while longer to contact you. I hope your day is as pleasant as you have been to me." And with that, I hang up the phone. The reason that he can't invest? Gap letters are sent to everyone with a 30-day lifespan from their first investment in that financial year. Guess who hadn't sent his back to us from the year before? Yep. The thing is, I could have explained this to him if he had just decided to be nice and patient, instead of being rude and abusive towards me. But now he will have to wait up to 2 weeks for someone to explain this to him. So basically, if you make a call to a call center, be nice to them. Because it may just save you a lot of time and effort. The third story is called No Bonus for Me? I just signed up for a new AT&T TV subscription less than 13 days ago. They had just posted a new update, informing all new subscribers can get HBO and HBO Max for free for a year. So I call AT&T and start talking to the rep explaining my situation. The rep, unfortunately, tells me that they are not able to add the package as it's only for accounts created after a certain date. I then ask the rep if I'm still in my grace period for a full refund and no termination fee. She replies, yes. So I tell her I would like to cancel my account. She replies, I'm sorry to hear that. Why would you like to cancel your account today? I reply, I just told you, but it's the fact that I'm not getting HBO for free. She replies, I understand, let's go ahead and cancel the account. You won't be charged a termination fee and will get a full refund of what you have paid so far. After a few minutes, she cancels the account and then asks, is there anything else I can help you with today? I say, yes, I would like to set up a new account for AT&T TV. She then transfers me to another rep that can assist me, and I get a new account set up with the HBO and HBO Max free for a year. I still have to send the box back with the old account, and they sent me a new box for the new account. If you have watched the video up to this point, please leave a comment like a penguin emoji in the comment section. It really helps the channel to grow if the videos get more comments, likes and shares. Thank you all for all the support and recommendations. And now let's take a look at the next story. The next story is called I guess they were as fed up with him as everyone else. So back in the day when I was a button pusher, I worked for a company that had a supervisor that was an enormous Scrooge. He didn't like spending money at all. He also didn't like money being wasted, which was even a bigger deal to him. He had several complaints on him due to this. Machines not running properly, didn't have the right buff wheels, broken tools, but still worked. Things of that nature. So I ran 6 EDM machines at a time. EDMs use brass wire. It was trouble enough staying stopped up on that. But I had this one notorious machine that loved to give me problems. Mainly the same problem. When feeding the wire using the machine function, it wouldn't feed properly. Doing it manually, it would work, but the wire would break when the machine started running immediately. So you had to find a sweet spot in order to get it to work, and that could take a while. So clearly the machine needed some work and have parts replaced. I submitted repair requests for a year. At least once a week, after it wasn't getting fixed within a sufficient amount of time. Okay, so I was setting up a new job on this machine. This was out of a block of steel. I was near the end of the spool of wire. It wouldn't even get through the first pass before it ran out of wire. Running blocks of steel, the machines didn't like to go back to where it left off and restart. Also, on these blocks, runtime for the first pass was upwards of 5 to 7 hours. So, to save time in the long run, I took that spool off, put it aside because I could use it for small and simple cutoff jobs in the future and put a new spool on and go through the annoying wire feeding thing. Here comes Scrooge, marching his way towards me to hand me some more jobs, and he notices the almost empty wire spool sitting there. Scrooge questions why I didn't finish that spool of wire. I explained to him that it wouldn't finish the first pass and time would be wasted in the middle of operations to switch out the wire and have to start the part from the beginning again. But Scrooge says, no, put it back on now. Don't be wasteful. I tried to encourage that it would be best to have the new spool on and that I would use the near empty for future use. He didn't budge. So I put it back on, and by the time I got the wire fed to where it didn't break, I had about 3 hours worth of wire left. So I replaced the spool again, and sure enough, about halfway through the first pass, it ran out of wire. So I replaced the wire and restarted the machine from start. End of the day comes and I mark my downtime. I put 6 hours due to wire change. A reason I knew would catch upper management eye. The next week, upper management, vice president and president come marching out of their offices and head to my area. They don't look happy. I couldn't even get out a hello before they started going off. Why in the hell did a simple wire change take 6 hours? And further, why in the hell do you have a history of this on this machine? I had a smile on my face when I explained to them what had happened, and I mentioned that I also had repair requests in for at least a year. The VP and president storm off, and not more than an hour later, Scrooge was being walked out of the company with a box of his things. I guess they were fed up with him as well as everyone else. The last story is called "A Lawyer Couldn't Make a Contract." Now, to give some background for the story, I was working as a legal assistant at a small law firm, but started off as a receptionist. This was a job I could get straight out of college, while I give myself some time to adjust to adulting life and getting ready to apply to graduate or law school. My boss fired a coworker over her asking for a higher raise, and immediately told me I was going to take over. The law firm has 8 employees and has a high turnover rate, and I didn't realize until a couple of months ago. My boss is a stereotypical boomer and gloats about how he was in the army. And how he's a ladies' man, even though his wife is literally our office manager. And he doesn't train his employees, even though he forces his employees to sign a contract saying they will have to pay $2,500 if they don't complete 1 year. Over the past months, he has tried to say my work is terrible when I close his cases that were open for over a year and 3 months. He blames me for being rude to clients, even though the clients told him it was not me, and was another coworker who he showed favoritism to. And he consistently asked me if I found the right man, even when he met my girlfriend at the firm's annual holiday party. And there's a lot more of stuff like this. Overall, he hated anything about me, and my coworkers would often have to vouch for me because he would take out his anger on me. Because of this, I made sure to always send emails of our conversations and clarify things in order to keep track of all the shortcomings and issues. I even had a meeting with my office manager. I documented the fact that I wasn't trained by sending a follow-up email and screenshotting an email where they made me train a new person 1 week after I started. 3 weeks ago, he changed my contract to being a non-essential employee. He told my coworker before she quit that he lessened my hours because of my poor work and anything I did could be sent by mail or email. He often rushes through his work and leaves a lot of loopholes in his contract. So cue malicious compliance. The contract said that I would be a non-essential employee, and by the way he wrote it, he kept phone calls at 0.5 of an hour. But I would get paid $15 per call, $45 for each family packet I did, and $15 per email correspondence. So I did a couple of family pleading packets, but kept my coworkers in the loop. They told my boss that they were busy with other things and asked if I could make the calls. They know I'm the only one in my household working and felt the contract was terrible. I also asked them how they would read the contract, and they interpreted it in the same way I had. Since I was deemed non-essential and he could not be bothered to draft a letter letting me go into the office, I had to send various emails for him to print. When he would ask for me to place items on his desk, I referenced my contract stating I was a non-essential employee and could risk a fine or jail time. I ended up making so many calls that when I sent my hours to my office manager, she CC'd my boss and asked to verify the hours and explained. I explained and broke it down with my contract. My boss couldn't be bothered to go back to his email and asked me to forward the contract. At that point, it took them forever to respond, and I was eagerly awaiting their response. He attempts to spin it back and change the wording of my contract to say each call was only $0.75 and each correspondence was $1.50. This would essentially make my paycheck only less than $100, even though I had originally been paid $15 an hour and had worked over 50 hours in the past 2 weeks. At that point, I sent my resignation and screenshots of all the times I asked them how they want the timesheet sent, along with the governor's stay-at-home order for non-essential employees. He attempted to change the story to say that I was an essential employee and finally offered to give me a letter, but at that point I had already sent my resignation. After reading my email referencing the contract, lack of training, and mentioning the conversation with his wife, he conceded, made an agreement that I was leaving on good terms, and is giving me the wages I deserve. So we can learn, document everything, and follow up. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.